Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farm, and today we're going to split a little bit of firewood, and while we're doing it, I want to talk about my firewood setup. As I was out here sharpening the chain on the chainsaw, putting gas in all the splitters, and just getting everything ready, I was really looking around and thinking I may have the perfect woodyard. Now, one reason for that is that it is 85 degrees outside right now, but where I'm standing with this little bit of breeze and full shade, feels like it's about 72. It really is nice being able to split indoors. But that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the arrangement I've set up and the equipment that I'm using. Now, if I put a title on this video that is something about the perfect woodyard, obviously you can take anything to extremes. The perfect woodyard might have a $300,000 firewood processor in it. I'm talking about within reason. I sell firewood, I heat with firewood, but I'm not a commercial operation, obviously. But my primary splitter is the Eastonmade 1222. I just got this and I've used it about 3 times now. So not a ton of experience with it, but I think this is going to dramatically change the way I do firewood. In the workflow, it will definitely have a big impact, but I also think I'm just going to do about 5 or 10 times as much firewood this year. The next thing is my log deck. I built this log deck out of scraps off of my sawmill, and I set logs up here on it, and then it's got 16-inch spaces. That makes it easy to cut up your logs or your slab wood in this case while working up at chest height. So I just pile my material here, cut it up, and that allows me to not have to lift this stuff or bend over, to go straight onto the vertical splitter and then into totes. Now for me, the last step to truly making this a perfect setup to process a lot of wood, I would want a conveyor. This is my vertical splitter. And I think a vertical splitter is a really handy tool. Some people love them, some people hate them, but they have clear advantages. If you're trying to sell a premium wood and you want your firewood an exact size, this is the perfect machine. They have a fast cycle time and they're just very comfortable to operate. This particular vertical splitter is made by Powersplit. It's got a Honda GX270 engine on it. A Powersplit was, to my knowledge, the first company to ever make a vertical splitter in this form factor. The majority of the splitters that Powersplit sells are much larger, more complicated machines than this. This is their base unit. 90% of the splitters that they sell have a seat over here that you sit on and drive the splitter to your rounds or drive it to your log pile to do your splitting. I actually think this is the only model they make that isn't self-propelled. All of their other models also have the conveyor. A lot of you are familiar with the Eastonmade version of this, which is the Eastonmade Axis. It's not self-propelled, but it's got a higher table and it's got the built-in conveyor. I think you can get it with or without the conveyor, but most of the ones I've seen had the conveyor. Running the Eastonmade Axis was when I fell in love with a wood splitter for the first time and said, wow, this is really convenient and it's worth it. So it's a real luxury for me to have both of these splitters, but they do serve separate purposes. The 1222, as you'll see in a minute, splits the wood once and then it returns the wood, drops it in, and splits it again. It's amazing for big rounds. And you can put a 2-way or a 4-way wedge or a lot of different wedges in here, but the box wedge would not work very well for something like this slab wood. For the slab wood, I think something like this is perfect. Alright, we got the fuel on that way, choke this way, and then this one has an on-off switch here as well. Got the foot pedal down here. Here's one cool thing about the vertical splitters. So I love working inside this building, but it's only 30 foot wide. And honestly, the width works out really well. But if it was 40 foot wide, I could bring a compact tractor in here and make a turn and put a tote over there, or, scrape out the wood chips. Like, one thing about this type of splitter with a box wedge, it's super fast and efficient, but it makes a lot of trash underneath. A part of this is because that was kind of a doty wood, but this type of splitter makes a lot more trash than that type of splitter. And so you've got to be able to get in here and clean it out. Like earlier, I had my Eastonmade up there and I drove this machine around it and rotated in here. So if this was a little bit bigger, you could use a compact tractor. But with the size of the area I'm working in, the little mini skid steer is perfect. And I've talked about this before, that a lot of people say these are a toy or whatever, or that only contractors in residential areas would want a machine like this. That's not my experience. I love this thing out here. I mean, I got a lot of wide open spaces I work in, but I also work in here and I find myself using this all the time. At this point right here, I could tell this log was going to be junk, or at least part of it, because the saw just went through too easy. And then a minute later, I cut off this little knob that's sticking out, and then you could really see it. I've got these logs all over the property that I've been saving for firewood, but this is 2 times in a row that I went and got one, and it ended up being completely rotten and useless. So maybe I don't have as many firewood logs as I thought I did. So in my mind, I've got all this firewood, all these logs ready to be cut up. I just went down and cut into that other one that was down here. It's junk. I went down to my other log pile over here. Most of it's junk. I've got 3 trees that I cut down, and I know that 2 of them I just cut down and they're solid, but I'm saving those for something else. So I think there's a log right up here up the hill. It was a standing dead tree that I cut down a while ago, but I'm pretty sure the log's solid. So let's go get that one. Biggest pet peeve I think that every YouTuber has is when they spend a lot of time recording content and don't have any audio with it. Now these clips have audio, but I'm talking to the camera while I'm working, and I'm explaining what I like about the splitter and what my routine is like. But you'll notice I normally have a microphone on my hat. Well, I left the microphone on the chainsaw helmet and put it about 15 foot away. So none of my content or my commentary is included. But you can see how this is working. With the auto cycle on the forward and the reverse, you just smack the levers and let it work, and while it's working, you can go get your next round. It makes it a very smooth process. And you can also notice that I'm not handling this wood other than rolling the rounds onto the log lift. It's also very cool that when you raise the log lift, it comes up at just the right angle that the log rolls into place, but it doesn't roll too fast. It's just nice and smooth. I really love the experience of splitting with this splitter, although I may need to figure out a better process for how to handle the wood after it's split. And I've got a couple of different ideas for how I'm going to do that. But any of those ideas would work even better with a conveyor to push the wood further away from the splitter or into some type of a container or a dump trailer or something like that, with the entire purpose being to handle the wood as little as possible. Now, after the end of this video, I went ahead and got that other log that I cut this off of and split that up too. But all the splitting video gets kind of repetitive, so I'm not going to show all of that. My microphone issue also ruined the sign-off for this video, but I want to tell you thank you for taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.